What's up, incredible things? How are you doing today, my friends? I hope you are well. I am Y311H. I'm really glad, my friend, you have joined us today. Lots of love and respect. My friend, today we shall be reacting together to good vibes videos, my friend. Different types of videos from different humans, from different places across the whole world. And all these videos, my friend, have different messages. But our main aim as we react to them is to spread love, peace, honesty, and forgiveness to the whole world. I believe, my friend, with your uniqueness and the good vibes that God has put in you, we can make this happen together. So kindly hit that subscribe button, watch all the way till the end, and help us in spreading good vibes. My friend, before we dive in, let's also read from some good vibes book of wisdom, the guide of life. And today, this is what it tells us. And everyone who calls on the name of the Lord will be saved. For on Mount Zion and in Jerusalem there will be deliverance, as the Lord has said, among the survivors whom the Lord calls. That, my friends, is from Joel 2:32 going down. Now, good vibes soul. Let's thank our Creator before we dive in. Thank you, Father. Thank you for your goodness. Thank you for your love, Father. Thank you for your kindness. Thank you, dear Lord, for joy and for life. All glory and honor belong unto you, dear Lord. Thank you, dear Lord, Father, for this soul also that you've united us together with them here, Father, to spread love. Guide us through, Father, and forgive us all our sins, dear Lord. Also, remember our lives, Father, and intervene as you may be pleased. In Jesus' mighty name, we do pray, trusting and believing. Amen. Let's dive in, wonderful souls.
Nobody in the world seems to know it. Suppose you have a list of things. P equals this, or that, or that. And in other words, suppose there's 100 boxes here, and one of them has a gold brick in it, and the others don't. And so for each box, suppose the probability is 0.9 that this one has the gold brick, and this one has 0.01, and this has 0.01. Let's see how many of them. So there's 10 of these. That makes Now, what should you do? Suppose you're allowed to keep choosing a box, and you want to get your gold brick as soon as possible. What's the smart thing to do? But you have no memory.
This 12.5 kilo gold bar is worth about $1 million, but as you guys can see, there's a lot of dark spots in here, which means that there's a lot of other metal in here. So how do we get this bar to look something like this bar, which is 99.9% pure gold and free of impurities? Well, I'm going to show you guys how they do it. We're at the Pomp Gold Factory here in Switzerland, and first we got to go to the crucible.
After we place this heavy bar into the crucible, the gold is then melted into a liquid form so that it can be cast into a shape that is ready for the electrolytic refining process. Famously, it'll be connected to a power source and be called an anode.
This anode gets dipped into this solution right here, which actually strips out the impurities and actually just leaves you with a sheet of gold. The final product is this gold sponge. It's basically a paper-like texture, and then this gets further melted down into different types of other products such as gold grains, gold bars, or even gold strips.
Don't always respond with "you're welcome" when someone says thank you. Even though saying "you're welcome" is correct, if you want to sound more like a native speaker, try using these alternatives. No worries. Anytime. Of course. Happy to help. Don't mention it. My pleasure.
Has anybody seen the moon lately? Like, they told us we were getting 2 moons, but I can't even see the 1 moon we had. Like, I haven't seen the moon. Since the 29th, I've been here with my telescope, waiting to see this second moon, right? I don't know where you are, but where I am, it's been super cloudy, and I have not seen the moon. Now today, it's a great day, right? So normally your brain's going to think, oh, tonight's going to be awesome to watch the moon. You know, pull the telescope out, and we can see the 2 moons. Come nightfall, it gets all cloudy, and not only can I not see the second moon, I can't even see the first moon, like our moon. Can somebody tell me if you see the moon? Have you seen the moon since the 29th?
We've discovered in our research is that there's absolutely no such thing as constructive criticism. Anybody who gets put down, insulted, treated with sarcasm or insults or mockery actually gets more physically ill over time. It compromises the immune system as well as being essentially sulfuric acid for love. So don't ever think that criticism will be constructive. Instead, talk about what you feel and what your positive need is in a particular situation. Be really specific and clear and talk about yourself. Don't describe your partner, because when you do that, you just invite defensiveness into the conversation.
Astronomers just discovered one of the closest exoplanets to Earth. This is Barnard's star, and it's only 6 light years away. That is so close. If there was an intelligent species there, we could reasonably have a conversation with them in our lifetime. They just found a planet orbiting it. Barnard's star is tiny. It's less than 20% the size and mass of Earth, and the exoplanet they discovered is also tiny. It's smaller than Earth, which might seem normal, but only a few exoplanets smaller than Earth have ever been discovered. But this planet is 20 times closer to its star than Mercury is to the Sun, so even though its star is smaller, that is still way too close, and it is way too hot. It's 257 degrees Fahrenheit on the surface. That's too hot even for water, so this isn't like a prospect for us to go to. However, while looking at this exoplanet, astronomers found hints of what they think are 3 other exoplanets orbiting this star. These 3 haven't been confirmed, but I'm optimistic. The terrible news is that even if we discovered these planets and saw aliens there, with our fastest spacecraft, it would take us over 9,000 years to get there. The terrific news is that this exoplanet was discovered with an instrument called Espresso.
This video was taken by the owner of this dog. Whilst playing fetch with the frisbee, the dog suddenly starts to act very strangely. It is as if an invisible force is grabbing the frisbee and then playing tug-of-war with the dog. This goes on for some time as the confused owner watches on.
What are you doing?
So it looks like we have a very eventful October this year, you guys. Starting off with the solar eclipse that happened just a few days ago, and now today we're supposed to be seeing the moon. Like, people are still having trouble finding the moon, but it says the moon is going to be near Venus. And then on October 8th we have the Draconids meteor shower. On October 12th we have a comet 2023 A3 at the perigee. This right here looks like Elon Musk trying to leave the firmament. Okay, and then on October 14th we have the moon near Saturn. So there's a lot of energies happening just within this month. And then on the 17th we have a super moon. I believe this one is called the Hunter's Moon on the 17th. October 21st, the Orinoids meteor shower. And then October 25th we have the Venus near Antares. And then to cap it all off, we have Halloween on the 31st. And then in Florida, we have a hurricane to prepare for once again. So like I said, there are a lot of energies taking place in this month, y'all. Make sure you guys are taking care of yourself during these times. But this is strictly for entertainment purposes only, y'all. I'm only raising awareness to these interesting situations during these interesting times. Let's get this shift. Peace in.
This video art piece is called Work by artist Joran Koymans and depicts 3 anonymous men caught in a continuous, seemingly pointless loop. perpetually shifting a shovel load of dirt from their own mound to the person's on their left, and reminds us of this quote by Ellen Goodman. Normal is getting dressed in clothes that you buy for work and driving through traffic in a car that you're still paying for in order to get to the job you need to pay for the clothes and the car and the house you leave vacant all day so you can afford to live in it.
And I'll try to hold my phone still. Now click on it. Press the button. Press the button. Yeah, go again. Go again. Hang on. Go. It's like a full-on free and square.
We've all heard of mansplaining, but allow me to introduce you to she-laborating. It is when you ask a woman a very, very simple question and she sits you down and gives you a 30-minute answer.
Just in the back of the Stittsville market here, packing up, guys, ready to head home, and couldn't help but notice the cloud formation. Look at that. I've never seen anything like that. Where's my cloud experts? What am I looking at? It almost looks like the ocean. Waves. I don't think the camera's giving it a fair shake here, but I've never seen a cloud formation like that in my life. Look at that. Does anybody know what that is?
Let me tell y'all a true story. Based up on watch this video to the end. Giants are showing up everywhere. TikTok, this is for entertainment purposes only. Let's go. Guys, look! This was in Brazil. Look at this giant, guys, on top of the hill. This is ridiculous. This is crazy. Look! What the How? He looks like he has a t-shirt on. Who the hell made that t-shirt for him? That's the real question. Shh. Not even the big and tall section in Macy's has his size clothes. Come on! Guys, I'm telling you, what is going on out here? Look! What the... No! I'm telling you guys. Shh. Shut up! We got a lot to worry about, guys. Get ready, they coming. It's not a game, guys. Are we worried about the diddler? What about those people out there that's the size of a building? Shh. Come on. Guys, look. On top of another mountain. Look at that. Look at it right there. It's climbing the mountain. I guess this is normal now. Come on. Look, guys, another one. I swear, bro, they everywhere. You better stay out of the mountains. I'm telling you right now. Shh. Play with me, son. TikTok. This is for entertainment purposes only. I didn't see any of this stuff, so to me, it ain't real. I'm telling you guys, they're everywhere. You live around the mountains? Be careful. Shh. Shut up! They coming out more and more, guys. This is like becoming normal. Everywhere we go, there's a giant. Just picture that, guys. You look out your window, and there's a giant looking in. Shh. That's when you know. Game over. But I tell you one thing. If I'm ever in the woods hiking, camping, or anything like that, and I see one of those giants, I'm out. Straight up.
There are 6 American flags on the moon, and nobody can zoom in and take a photo of them. The moon is big, alright? The width is about the size of the United States. The most extreme satellites in orbit around Earth can zoom into Earth's surface at a resolution of about a foot in diameter, which means anything less than a foot, you're not going to know what that is. So you would kind of be able to see an American flag, but not really. This is from orbit around Earth, so about 100 miles away from Earth's surface. And you want us to zoom into the moon, 238,900 miles away, and see a flag there? That's unfortunately not even close to possible. There are, however, satellites around the moon which do a much better job. NASA's Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter can have a resolution of 0.5 meter on the lunar surface. So here are its photos of the Apollo landing sites. You can see boot print paths and lunar modules and flags. Here's one, and here's another. Here's a photo from India's Chandrayaan-2 spacecraft, which shows the Apollo 11 landing site, but the flag was too little to see. Moral of the story, we do have photos of the flags on the moon, but only if you believe that we have satellites around the moon, which we do.
If you see somebody is different, they do not need to be told. They do not need it pointed out every single day, because everyone has told them their entire life that they're different. And I know you're just thinking, yeah, but it's just me. You think, yeah, but it's just you and 5 other people every single day forever. I've had that with my height forever and ever and ever, and felt incredibly self-conscious.
It's forced rest. You're not sick. The world is going through a turbulence, and you are the plane going through the turbulence. So it can feel like a lot of purging. You could have ear ringing. You could have maybe some congestion and what feels like mucus in your throat and your nose. Seeing a lot of eye floaters. Your body hurts. Maybe your muscles hurt. Maybe you're getting Charlie horses at night. Migraines, head pressure, purging from both ends. This is pretty common for what we're going through right now. We are in an extreme consciousness shift, just like we were this time 2020. Your human vessel is going through the frequency changes, and it's going to show. Drink a lot of water. Introduce sea moss into your life and remineralize your body so that you can stay hydrated. Rest. Allow yourself to rest. You should rest. Put your feet on the ground. Put your feet on the earth. And relax. And breathe deeply into your stomach. This is what it feels like to shift into consciousness. To expand. To see things new. It's exciting. It's called Ascension symptoms. If this is your first awakening, this is your first time feeling this. Do not let people tell you you're sick, and you do not need to go to the doctor. They will not find anything wrong with you. Enjoy.
The average person who goes to school has no idea why humanity exists. He has no idea concerning a spiritual factor in material existence. He has no general comprehension of the rules of life as these differ from the rules of social and political structure. He does not know where he came from, he does not know why he is here, and he has no idea where he's going. And on this compound ignorance, we offer degrees and make brilliant scholars out of people who have never answered any of those questions. It is one of these amazing things that we have created a great hierarchy of well-lettered ignorance. We have made everything subservient not to wisdom, but to the passing advantages of the hour. We're in exactly this position politically today.
I'm having a hard time.
The most obvious fade trap I have ever seen.
I'm gonna go touch it.
No, Maria, you're gonna get kidnapped.
Found this crispy fucking thing in the yard. What is that, is that a fucking squirrel?
You ain't gonna get me this time, you very obvious fade trap doorway to nothing. I don't know, let's go. No.
I have a question. What the hell is this? What the hell is this? Right? It's got like little wings or whatever. I saw it. I thought it was like a flower petal, but clearly it's not. What is it? I don't think praying mantis. So if anyone's got a clue, I'm very invested in finding out what that is. Get off me.
Okay. I literally put the dogs back in the car and came back because what? This is a pile of weed. Like, it smells like weed. This is weed. Just to give you some scale. My nail's missing, but don't ignore that. What the fuck? Who dumps? This is like...
Well, on today's episode of How Fucked Up is Fucked Up, that's fucked up. And listen, I've done a couple of videos on the same tattoo, and I'm still getting messages from people who wants to get that tattoo, or they already got that tattoo. Yes, it says appreciate life in English, but that's not what it says in Arabic. The Arabic writing says I'm moldy, or I'm rotten, or I'm stinky. Just because you see something online, it doesn't mean it's accurate. And I actually came across a t-shirt on Amazon that says the same thing. The English writing says appreciate life, but the Arabic says I'm rotten or I'm moldy. Don't get a tattoo in a language you do not speak. It's really that simple. Have a good day.
Pretty cool place to chill. Look at this place. Yo, looks like some cave there and some water stream. This looks incredible. Good vibes place on earth, my friends. This world is full of surprises and good vibes places. You see? Look at this. Oh, man, this one looks cool. And you see, my friend, what's even more surprising?
People very rarely treat you how they feel about you. They actually treat you based on this scientific thing. I'm Dr. Sarah Hensley. I'm a specialized social psychologist, and I've been studying the science of attachment and attraction inside of romantic relationships for nearly 20 years. People treat you not how they feel about you. I know you think they do. I know you think if they wanted to, they would. That's not what the science supports. The science supports they treat you to the degree that they can handle their own wounds and triggers. So the science actually says they treat you to the degree that they have the capacity to treat you. Now, we are talking about long-term relationships, okay? We are not talking about short dating relationships where somebody might not be attracted to you, or, you know, maybe they're dating somebody else or whatever. We're talking about you've been with this person in an exclusive relationship for a long time, or you're married to this person. They are treating you to the capacity that they can, okay? Handle their own wounds and their own triggers, aka their own demons. So please do not break your own heart and tell yourself these negative stories that you're somehow not good enough, okay? If you weren't good enough, they would have never gotten in a relationship with you to begin with. They would have been unattracted to you from the start. They would have seen these things and they would have gone, that person isn't for me, okay? They liked you. And they decided to be in a relationship with you. And if that relationship is going poorly, it's because you guys are likely not meeting each other's attachment needs, okay? And his or her behavior toward you is indicative of how much they can handle their own wounds and triggers and their capacity to regulate themselves and to step away from their triggers and to give you the love that you deserve. Because you do deserve to be loved.
Okay, so it is a myth that wooden cutting boards hold more bacteria than plastic. Wooden cutting boards are actually way more hygienic as long as we know how to care for them. So welcome to Wooden Cutting Board 101. These are 5 steps to cleaning and caring for a wooden cutting board. Okay, so number 1 actually starts when you're purchasing your cutting board. You want to look for one that's thick and sturdy and made from a good kind of wood. I really like Boost for my cutting boards. I've had this one for about a decade and it looks amazing still. They're smoother and don't have cracks and crevices, so less bacteria can get in them. It's like a shitty cutting board from Amazon. It has lots of crevices. You can see there's cracks where the wood was glued together, and it's very thin. So this is gonna hold more bacteria and also probably crack and warp. Number 2, to clean it, all you have to do is wash it with hot water and dish soap. It doesn't need to be sanitized, it doesn't need to be bleached, just hot water and soap, get rid of any bacteria. Number 3, dry your board properly after you wash it. You do this by taking a towel or paper towels and just thoroughly drying it, and then I prop it up to air dry it. You don't want to put it flat down on the surface because then it won't properly dry and then it could mold. Number 4, if you ever have stains or smells on your board, which can obviously happen if you're like cutting beets or cutting a lot of onions, all you have to do is clean it and then dampen it with a paper towel, and then you just sprinkle baking soda all over where the spots need to be stain removed or where the odor needs to come out. And let it sit there for as long as you need. Anytime I make beets, I do cut them on this board, and you can never tell because of that trick. Okay, so number 5 is the most important step, and one that most people don't even do. You have to oil your board when it starts to look dry. So here's how you oil your board. This is the board oil I use, it's by Boost, and you're gonna oil your board all over and then rub it in with a paper towel. And you want it to look like very oily, but rubbed in, if that makes sense. This at nighttime right before bed, because then I'll just leave it overnight. You want it to soak in, and then it'll be ready to use the next morning. Now, the reason you need to oil your cutting board is because it gets into the wood fibers and keeps them strong. And when they're not strong, they become brittle and could break, which can lead to your board warping, can lead to your board cracking, or even just pieces getting chipped off, which then that can harbor bacteria. If you do these 5 things, your wooden cutting board is set. And if you're interested in the board I have or any of the board creams and board oils, they're linked in my Amazon.
What is your favorite way to hydrate?
Celtic sea salt, a drop of honey, half a squeeze of lemon.
Here's another modern horror for you. PFAS, forever chemicals, are actually more dangerous than we thought because some of the forever chemicals actually don't need to be ingested to be carcinogenic. They can just be absorbed directly through our skin, and they're often on products that directly touch our skin, such as cosmetics for your face, food packaging, and as pictured here in the image, waterproof gear. You would put on your little rain jacket in order to avoid getting wet and stay healthy because you don't want to get a cold, but you're actually bathing in PFAS that can be absorbed through human skin. Now, we know about these chemicals when we drink them and eat them, and they're called forever chemicals because they last for a very, very long time before the bonds actually break down. They're called almost unbreakable bonds between the carbon and the fluorine atoms. And we've been making these and encountering these since the 1940s. In 2022, the EPA set guidelines to help limit and reduce human consumption. And past research suggested that skin absorption was possible, but studies have been limited and sparse. But we did a new study on 3D printed human skin, which I'll get to. You're actually just about to see a picture of here. This is it. This is the 3D printed human skin. It's actual human epidermis skin cells that are put on a little like Petri-like slide and grown over a period of time. And then once the human skin cells are living on this very measurable, quantifiable device, they put 500 nanograms per square centimeter of PFAS chemicals and tried to see how much of it absorbed in 36 hours. And the results were that of the 17 PFAS they tested, 11 of them actually went right through the skin barrier. So we can more readily absorb PFAS than we thought. And that represents about 59% of these chemicals. Roughly half of them are not safe. Now, scientists did say we cannot say with 100% certainty that PFAS will end up in the bloodstream, but they still have managed to enter the skin, which is the first step in the process of dermal permeation. So we haven't tested if it absorbs through the skin and into the bloodstream yet. We probably won't do this on living beings because we know it's carcinogenic, but it does get through the skin, which is scary and reminds you that even if you drink clean, filtered, nice water, you can still get PFAS chemicals just by touching common household objects. Yay!
Consciousness is electrical signals being conducted through or projected onto water. So for us, that's our blood and other fluids in our body. There's no single source of consciousness. It's simply that water is the medium from which electrical fields can be projected onto. So consciousness doesn't take place in our brain, but a third space, which is the medium of water. For example, where you have blood flow is where you have electrical activity in the brain. So if you're recalling information or using motor skills, you have blood flow that increases to those regions of the brain. Water has a lot of interesting properties, including its ability to retain memory and to restructure. Here are some examples of light and water and how they can interact. This is a 3D image being projected into water. 3D images can also be projected over water or on the surface of water. Light can be reflected and then projected onto a wall, or it can stay as 2D on the surface of water. It's able to refract light and do a lot of interesting things with it. But that's just for light. We also have audio signals or vibrations which move through water in different ways. Now those were just some examples of light and water, but what goes on in the body takes advantage of those same properties of water. You have consciousness anywhere in the body that you have liquid and an electrical field. Now we can prove consciousness is a projection onto water very fast with 2 easy experiments you can do in a minute. The first one is stare at a source of light, like a light bulb, for about 20 seconds, or the sun for about 2 seconds. Now turn off the light or look away and close your eyes, and you'll see this after image phosphene. And a phosphene is a subjective experience of light. So you're looking at this after image phosphene, and if you start to sway or move your head or move your eyes in any way, you'll notice that the after image phosphene stays suspended in 3D space in your visual perception. The after image doesn't actually move with your retina. It moves with the fluid in your body. So when you're looking at it and you're moving your head side to side, you're going to see that it drags behind and it moves beyond with the oscillation of the fluids in your eye. Because you don't actually see with your eyes or your visual cortex. These signals that go into your eye are converted to biophotons, which are then associated with different various cortices, including your visual cortex, and then it's projected back into the water in your body. You can pause to read this whole thing if you want, but light signals enter the eye, transducted into electrical signals, and then when you're actually seeing, they're emitted as biophotons, just like the lasers we saw being projected into 3D images on or in water. But again, that's just for light signals. So the other way we can prove that consciousness is a projection onto water is by spinning in circles. Spin in a circle for about a minute and then stop moving and you'll be dizzy. The water continues to slosh around in your brain and specifically your ears. Because consciousness is your electrical field being projected onto water, there's not a single spot where consciousness occurs in your body. This is why you're able to feel with your heart or sense with your guts or notice things with various limbs or in various parts of your body, because they're all able to emit electrical signals and they all have water. This is also where the idea of shower thoughts come from. If you're in a body of water, whether it's a shower or a bath or a pool or the ocean, your consciousness is going to diffuse because your electrical signals are conducting through water. It's sort of like a mild out-of-body experience because your electrical signals are now connected to this much larger body of water. And the same goes for if you're holding someone's hand. You're actually connecting circuits, and so you can have shared thoughts where you're able to sense or feel what the other person is thinking simply because you're having this connection of electrical circuits. There's actually a few gateways we have in our body in which we emit the most amount of biophotons. It's the palms of your hands in the center, around your heart, and the soles of your feet. Now, interestingly, this is where you have the stigmata, or the wounds of Christ. You have such intense meditation over many years that the gateways are completely burst open. We'll talk about that phenomena of mystics in a future video. Such things as Reiki and psychic powers and telekinetic abilities are also these electrical fields and biophoton emissions influencing things in your environment. Because biophotons and electrical fields, they encode information, and that information can be picked up by other things, or it can affect the electrical fields of other things around you. I've talked about it before, but there's also biophoton emission from your eyes, so when you have eye contact with someone, you can create a circuit and share information like that. When describing consciousness, I prefer to use the term synesthesia because it explains the multiple components that give rise to a sense of being or to an experience of self. A blind person isn't any less conscious than someone else, they just don't have that processing input or output working correctly that allows for them to experience that component. And the same is true for organisms that don't have a brain, like a tree or a bacteria. They're still conscious because there's still electrical circuits that are connecting into water. An ego is any electrical circuit, whether it's the solar system, whether it's a community, whether it's an ecosystem, whether it's a weather system, whether it's a person or a tree or a colony of bacteria or a computer. Those all contain egos because it's just electrical signals being input and processed in different ways. The circumstances of your output processing, such as our brains, allow us to experience the way that we do. But it's not any more conscious than something that doesn't have a brain, such as a tree or a weather system. So that's why I prefer the term synesthesia when describing consciousness. Because of this, group consciousness is possible. So if you have a crowd at a concert or festival or church service, you can have a mass subjective experience. The entire circuitry of all of these people are being combined into one. This is the purpose of ritual. It's to bring people together to kind of blend consciousness to create this ego that they all share. So people in this crowd may experience a vision or some kind of phenomena that other people in a different region of the world is not seeing because their electrical signals are being shared in that group. The biophotons, which contain information, is being transferred in this circuit, so you have this mass ego experience. And again, the same is true with just a single partner. In any exchange of fluids or holding hands and stuff, you're able to blend consciousnesses because the electrical circuits are connected. Blood brothers is another experience of this, when two people cut open their palms and they hold each other's hands and allow the fluid to share. They're allowing the consciousnesses to intermingle. And water, having memory and being a consciousness projector, allows for them to always be connected in some way. Once again, the same thing happens with organ transplants. Personality traits and characteristics of the person donating an organ will be received and integrated into the person who receives that organ. Still, in ancient cultures around the world, there was this idea that you could ingest the blood of something like an eagle or a fallen warrior or a wolf or a lion or something like that and receive attributes from that being, because that consciousness is going to now be part of you. Phantom limbs happen because the electrical field is still there where their limb used to be. It's possible to have a prosthetic connect to that electrical field and allow the person to use or gain control of that prosthetic limb with their conscious attention. Some common ideas are to say that humans are basically supercomputers and the universe is a simulation. The things that we are surrounded with, such as computers and the kind of technology that we have, always informs the teleology of our existence. Meaning, people think it's all computer-based because that's simply what we have around us. But it's more accurate to say that computers are just using what all biological life has taken advantage of, which are the inherent properties of electrical fields, being able to relay information, of light signals and electromagnetism and whatnot. There's nothing wrong with viewing humans as supercomputers or the simulation theory. It's just that our teleology is always going to be informed by the things that we have around us. The more important takeaway is that because those are just electrical fields and processing information, we're also able to connect to things like computers, because we too are circuits or egos with projection of information and relay and transmitting and receiving this electrical information. I know this whole video was kind of a rapid fire of a bunch of different ideas relating to this, but consciousness is a projection onto water. Water is the medium in which we experience or in which we have a sense of being. Our circuit is our ego, and that's not something that is permanent. It's able to diffuse or blend or connect to others.